Hello everyone, I'm Brian Miller, and today I'm going to show you how I took all these stamps, all these inspiring words and messages, and used them to create a background, layer upon layer of stamping to create a background. And then I created my own stencil and used that to create this image behind me. We're going to go ahead and use some stamps, some stamping ink. We're going to use some acrylic paint over top of it, and we're going to use a little bit of spray ink because, of course, I love spray inks. I think that's about it. So let's get going. Okay, I'm going to start this project by taking a coffee bag, a craft paper coffee bag, and cut off the edges so that we can get the page to lie flat. We're going to break right down the seam and cut off the little metal tabs. Then I'll take an 8x8 wooden panel that I'm going to put some matte medium down on. And we're using the matte medium as glue, and just glue the page right to it and spread it or push it down really hard so it's firm. And then we're going to just trim the edges right up to the edge of the 8x8 panel. Trim off those edges, and then just make sure that each of the edges is glued well with the matte medium, and put a little matte medium on top just so that it gets totally wet and totally adhered to the board itself. And press it down nice and firm. Then using my brayer again, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of white gesso just rolled over the background. And we want that to be fully dry. Now we're going to go ahead and get some archival ink stamp pads, and we're going to go ahead and start stamping this. What I want you to do is just find stamps that you're inspired by, words that can motivate you and encourage you. And we're going to start off with saffron yellow, our lightest color, and just stamp all over the background. It doesn't matter if they're crooked, they're upside down, or what, just keep stamping them. And what I'm doing to clean them right now is put them with a baby wipe just to get the ink off there so it doesn't mix as much. And just keep stamping, layer, layer, layer. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch to my next color, which is blazing red, and go ahead and take some other stamps and just sort of start filling in between. We're just going to cover the entire background with different stamps. And this could be any stamps. I'm choosing to do words and letters because I want it to be inspiring. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the permanent blue. I'm going to go ahead and start stamping this right over top, and just in different areas with the big stamp and little stamps, and cleaning each time between, and just building up layers. Now what I like about going from these three primary colors, from the lightest to the darkest, we're going from a yellow to a red to a blue. They start to build on top of each other, and it makes real pretty subtle variations of color, like especially with the green, with the yellow and the blue creating the green color. Also, what I'd like to do is take the big stamp and put it over the whole entire surface, especially this letter stamp, because it just adds some good variety and it fills the page nicely. And what we're trying to do is just build some layers up. You'll notice some words you'll miss, and we're going to be covering this up later, and just keep building and building, because you want it to sort of just come alive and have more depth as you're into the artwork, as you view it longer and longer. Now I'm going to take some titanium white and put it on my palette, and I'm going to go ahead and with a brush just start filling in some of the spaces around some of the words, between some of the words, just giving some calm spacing and making some things pop out and becoming more relevant. This really starts to give the piece of work a lot more depth. Okay, now it's time to build our own little stencil or mask. So take a piece of cardstock, something that's pretty thick, and we're just going ahead and sketch out a coffee mug, which is one of my inspirations. And we'll just go ahead and cut out the basic shape. And you can as easily use an existing stencil and just trim the shape until you get it exactly the way you want. By flipping it over, you can kind of see the rough spots and the pieces that need to still be trimmed and cleaned up a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and place that right in the center of our background. And I'm going to use my new favorite color, Azurite Hue. And we're going to go ahead and start painting right around the mask. Now I'm using a fairly dry brush and just spreading it around the outside, just really rough. I also want to fill in some of the background areas a little more just to make sure that it feels a little even and create some separation of the mug from the background. And I realized I didn't do the inside of the coffee itself, so I'm going to go ahead and put the mask back down and lay down the coffee layer. And then mix a little bit of white in. I'm trying to see how this works, see if I can put some more mugs on the page. And I really didn't like the second one, so I'm going to go ahead and take that one off. Just wiping it off with a baby wipe. And then I'm going to put the mask back down and just add a little bit of spray inks around. This just gives another texture layer on top of the work we just did. Now we're going to go back and add some more stamps. So I kind of want you to look at your piece, see where are some areas that are too empty, or you want the words to jump out at you, like where I just put the word inspire. And we're going to go ahead and re-stamp over top of everything. We're just stamping in front. So this gives us our original background. It gives us a middle ground, which is where we have the coffee mug itself, and then the foreground, which is where we're now putting the stamps over top of it. And it gives you a real sense of depth and layering in the piece. So I hope you've gone out and made your own piece and can sit back and look at your piece and have a nice cup of coffee and enjoy it and have it be something that inspires you to make more, to enjoy creating art, and just to be able to express yourself and feel motivated.
I like coffee too.